I have a lot of questions about Scar, the orc conjurer. Who is he? What are his true motivations? Well, hopefully we'll find out some of those questions today with a new solo RPG tool. Welcome everyone to another episode of Ask the Oracle. Now in today's episode we hope to continue the journey that it's hopefully nearing its end for Raza, Varric, and their other companions. And then we can move on to other systems. We're going to be exploring a wide variety of things in this series. Now, if you want to help support the channel, you could do all the YouTube-y things, like and subscribe if you will. Check out our Patreon, join our YouTube membership, or hop on over to Wargames Vault and check out my very own Scratch Builder monthly. Having said that, what is this series about? Ask the Oracle is my own, very own little solo RPG series where I explore the art of playing a role-playing game solo. And in this series, we not only have some fun with the RPGs, do a little bit of solo play, we also explore a variety of different techniques for solo play, tools, and things like that. And then I will provide links for those tools in the description box of the videos. So we have Raza, who is a goblin delver. We have Varric, who is a bugbear brute, and he's a pretty big bugbear brute, larger even than your standard bugbear. And then we have Scarbidin, whom we just met in a forest town, a goblin forest town. And Scar is a conjurer, although a bit of a mysterious individual. We don't know very much about him at all. And Sputnik is a terrified little goblin scout that I expect is not going to last very long with the troop. He was completely terrified in the last battle, and I don't really... He's been leading the party this far through the Blackthornwood Forest, but I don't think he's going to last very long. We'll see. Only the dice can tell. So, with that, Varric and Raza have been traveling for a little bit. They trust each other. They have a certain bond together. And the setting for this game is a very untraditional sort of setting where Raza and Varric live in this hobgoblin kingdom. And this is a large territory now ruled by hobgoblins. It is called the Kingdom of Myrtilon. And in this kingdom, we also have orcs. We have a large number of goblin towns and civilization. A lot of these settlements are both above ground and below ground as goblins, depending on the race of goblin. And then we also have bugbears. We have ogres that are beginning to emigrate from the north and are making their life here in Myrtilon. And so it's a whole conglomerate of goblinoids, and the hobgoblins are sort of on top. They're the rulers. It is not yet an empire, but it's a very strong kingdom. It has a strong military and all that. So let's go back just a little bit, because I have some questions for the Oracle. It's going to be very important because we want to know more about Scar. What his motivations are, see if we can define Scar a little bit more, and I have a new tool to introduce into the series. So Lord Tosh, who is, we also learn, dealing with some kind of orcish rebellion. Now that's interesting, an orcish rebellion up north somewhere. And obviously all these giant rumors of giant spiders and how they're threatening the villages here, these forest goblin villages, is of some concern, but his priority is that orcish uprising. So he's dealing with that. His armies are dealing with that. He can't deal with these vermin. And so what he does is offer a reward and all this stuff, and then makes it known so that he can attract local adventurers, local brazen, let them deal with the problem. Okay, and whoever deals with it will get the reward. So Raza and Varric, of course, in need of some coin. Raza is a little goblin delver, and the oracle established for us that she knows something about giant spiders because she used to scout the mines in her town up north. These are subterranean goblins. Raza is one of these subterranean goblins. And she gained a lot of knowledge about giant spiders and other vermin because her job was to go out, scout, and eliminate any layers, okay, before the miners went in, and so that they can continue to claim more of the mines safely. So Raza has some knowledge. Varric, on the other hand, is just a fighter from some of the arenas in the capital city of the kingdom. Varric gained his freedom by being an excellent fighter on the arena. Okay, so that's kind of their backgrounds. Now, when they they see this other little goblin, kind of ugly, long nose, your typical almost dwarvish body style, large head, large ears. And this other species of goblin is right next to the war chief, and he's taking names. They're actually registering parties to go out and hunt these vermin, get rid of them, bring back some something that indicates that they truly have been eliminated, and that's it. They get the reward. But Varric and Raza are only two individuals, and according to this war chief, you need a minimum of 3. There's all these weird little laws and rules and things that pop up. He points them to a friend of his, as he says. The oracle, we learned that it was possibly a friend of his, according to kill him. And indeed points them to the Tusked Inn, which is a very peculiar inn in this little forest town. It is completely empty, no patrons. There's a couple of goblins cleaning dishes and stuff, bowls, ceramic bowls or something, spitting into the bowl and then cleaning it up. Goblins. And indeed, they find this individual, this orc conjurer named Scar. And after a little bit of conversation, he is very happy to join the party and give and serve with a little bit of his magic. Okay. Following, we meet little Sputnik, who's the terrified little goblin scout who had just come out of the wood and is now sent back into the wood to lead the party through the wood into these problem areas because apparently Sputnik has been here before. He knows the areas where these creatures are supposedly roaming. And Sputnik leads them. They get lost a little bit, and it's like a 2-day journey to the spot where the real problem seems to be. And Sputnik is leading them there. They get lost. We learn a little bit of the Blackthorn Wood. And there's not a lot of encounters. There's not a lot of things that happen along the way. And Raza and Varric and the group is now approaching the objective. UNE NPC Creator. This is a little book that I got from Drive-Thru-RPG. It's a great little book. And what it does is it helps you, if you're playing solo or even 2-player RPGs, it helps you to further define your NPCs. when you're playing solo, this is actually an excellent tool. So this is outside the rules of Ezd6, but it's going to help us to kind of generate some motivations for the character and a little bit of description for the character. Now, the character that I'm asking about is Scar. I am treating Varric. Varric is more of an NPC as well, but I'm treating Varric and Raza as if they were player characters, okay? Despite the fact that they are truly NPCs. Varric and Raza are more like player characters. Scar and Sputnik would be more like NPCs. That's the way I'm kind of reasoning it, okay? So with Scar, there are a number of things that we don't know. We know he's a conjurer. We know that he joined this expedition quite readily. He is also supposedly a friend of the war chief, who is, by the way, the clawed hand of Lord Tosh. All that means is that he is a servant, the right hand, of the Lord, etc. So Killam has a high rank. Okay, so let's try and define Scar first. So I have my computer open here, and the first thing I'm going to do is ask the question what the NPC is really. We're going to get a modifier word. That's what these tables give you. They give you modifier words. They'll give you verbs, nouns, adjectives. It's up to you, the player, to interpret how all that fits in your story. So let's see what happens. We're going to roll a percentile dice, and we're trying to define Scar a little bit more. Okay, I got a 23, so looking at the table, we get logical. Okay, that's an interesting trait. Well, it makes sense. I mean, he is a conjurer. We are getting away from all the traditional D&D and whatever ideas that we may have of orcs and, goblins and everything else. We're kind of establishing our own little theme here. So he seems like a logical individual. Okay, all right. So that is something that describes Scar. Who is he? Now we need a noun. Let's see what we get in this one. 66, champion. Interesting. So Scar was a champion of sorts. Was he a champion for Lord Tosh? Does he serve the Lord directly? And when we speak of champion, there's a number of things that could be happening here. Was he in fact a warrior at some time of the arenas like Varric was, and then discovered his gift as a conjurer? Interesting. Or is he a champion of magic? Is he a strong enough conjurer? We see by his stats that he's pretty average, pretty normal. So that's interesting. I think it's more likely that this individual had some kind of background, because he is beefy. I did describe him as a strong orc. And, for a conjurer, that's not always the case. It can be, but it's not always the case. And so I think this individual Scar maybe identifies with Varric, like we saw in the last game, because he too fought in the arenas and somehow won his freedom. Now, at some point in time, he also discovered his magical gift, and now he considers himself a conjurer, or is considered a conjurer. Okay, that's interesting. Let's jot that down. So what is Scar? He is logical. That is one descriptor. The noun that we got was champion. So I think that has to do with his history. And we could, by the way, ask the Oracle. And if the Oracle says no, then something else is going on here. There is a motivation, verb, and noun. Let's define the motivation of this character. Now remember, these are things that Raza and Varric don't know. You and I know this. but Raza and Varric don't know. So we have to be careful with what we interpret, because they don't know anything about Scar. But it could motivate us to create more of a storyline between these characters. Okay, so motivation verb. Let's see what we get. 86. Refine. Okay, interesting. We got refine. And now for the noun. This is motivation. 27. Family. Huh. Okay. So he has some kind of family motivation. Now, orcs, family or clan. Family could mean clan. Orcs in this particular land, we established, were more tribal, more clan-like. And some of them are obviously loyal to the Hobgoblin King and Queen. But as we see by this uprisal, not all orcs are happy under this rule. So there is some uprising which could trigger other problems in this kingdom. It could trigger more uprisings. Is it only the orcs? Is it some of the goblins? You know, some of the hobgoblins even that are working in this uprising? We only know of one. So we're going to say verb, refine, and then family. All right. Let's think about this a little bit. This is his motivation, refine and family. Okay, so refine, remove impurities, perfect. Usually as part of an industrial process. I don't think this is referring to an industrial process. I think I have it here. Refine and then family. Improve his family's condition. Improve his clan's condition, right? Clan, family. We said orcs live in clans in this land. Improve. They're under the rule of the hobgoblins. I am willing to bet that Scar is actually involved with this rebellion. I'm willing to bet that Scar is a conjurer who is involved in this rebellion and is looking for something that's going to aid the rebellion. Now, is that something found here in this expedition? What could that something be? Could it be that Scar is actually looking to study these giant mutated creatures, learn more about them? Could they possibly be a weapon in a future revolution that the orcs may undertake? There's a lot of questions here, but I think we're starting to get it. All right, we're going to need to ask the oracle now. According to this motivation, refine family, and we're saying that Scar may be part of this Northern Revolution looking to remove rulership, looking to free themselves, their family, their clan, from Hobgoblin rule. Is this true? I'm going to give this a likely. I think this individual has something to do with that. So now let us ask the oracle and see what the oracle says. And I'm going to give this a likely, very likely. We're going to be rolling on the fate roll. And if it fails, then it means that he's involved for other reasons. So 3 plus 2 is 5. Yes. And it is a plain yes. No ands or buts. So the oracle has spoken. Now we know that Scar's motivation is actually related to this civil war or this rebellion that's going up north. That means that this individual does not serve Lord Tosh, or maybe he is serving under pretext, but his real intentions are this civil war that's going on somewhere in the north that Lord Tosh is responding to. Okay, so that clarifies a couple of things. But it also generates more questions. So this individual is part of the Civil War somehow, and he could be faking an allegiance to Lord Tosh to get closer to him. But now that begs the question, what about kill him? Kill him is supposed to be friends with this orcish individual. Now, kill him is a bugbear. We know, again, that some bugbears may be unhappy with the rule. Others are very loyal. But now we have to see, what about kill him? Is kill him, what I want to know now, is it true that kill him himself is loyal to Lord Tosh? He is a high rank within the house, but is he truly loyal, or does he have a connection to this whole civil war? Let's see. To give this a 50-50, because we don't really know, we're rolling on the feet roll. Ask the Oracle. A 1. No. And okay. Now that's an interesting result. Okay, so now this could be, we know now that this individual, kill him, is loyal to Lord Tosh. He's not really related to what's going on, this civil war, whatever it is. He's Lord Tosh's war chief, but he's also friends with Scar. So has Scar befriended this individual in order to get closer to the Lord and find some way of benefiting his cause? Could be. Could be. This could generate other questions. I think for now, though, I think I'm satisfied with these definitions for now. Now, in future games, if we ever were to come back to this, we could further explore these connections and see what's going on. So obviously, kill him thinks that Scar is a friend. We established that in the last video. But there's more to it than that. This Scar individual, he has other motivations. Now, what actually attracted him to this expedition, we don't know. I'm assuming that it has something to do with these giant spiders, these mutant magical spiders. Maybe he's interested in the magic that is mutating these things. We don't know exactly, but something about this expedition has attracted this conjurer, and he, I bet you, wants to use this against the hobgoblins. It's to free his clan or whatever it is, okay? So, still some unanswered questions, but I think we're beginning to establish a whole web of threads here. Okay, I think I'm satisfied with that. Now that we defined Scar a little bit, he's becoming very interesting. Now, again, this is information that you guys and I know. Varric and Raza don't know this yet. They're going to have to slowly, maybe, depending on the dice, will begin to connect the dots eventually, okay? Right now, there's too much going on. I do want to establish a little something between Varric and Scar. Now, Scar, because he was a champion, that's what we're going to say. I think I'm not going to roll for that. I think I'm going to say he was a champion just like Varric was. He was a champion of the fights in the arenas. He won his freedom somehow. At some point during that time, he discovers his gift. Maybe it's a gift that came to him. We don't know. But he becomes a conjurer. And that's why when I show his figure, it actually works really well. Because if you see his figure, he's a beefy orc. So he was actually a melee fighter, but then discovered his art. And now is becoming more of a finesse kind of, magical individual. So, but how does Varric feel about Scar? Raza, I'm not going to ask the question. I think Raza right now is too focused on what's going on the spiders. She may not be thinking about this stuff. But Varric is going to be protective over Raza. I'm just going to say that right now. I'm not going to roll it. He's protective over her. The two have traveled together for a few months now. There's the natural bond of adventurers, and I think Varric, by the way he's been acting, is pretty protective over Raza, okay? So, let's see now. I want to ask the Oracle, does Varric feel some kind of trust? Is there some kind of kinship? Varric is a little bit, he doesn't trust everyone quickly, okay? So, let's see what the fate roll says. I'm just going to give it a 50-50. We don't know. So rolling a 3, no. But. There's a no and but. So Varric does not trust, which is normal. He senses something is wrong about Scar. He doesn't know what it is yet, but it's obvious. It's just, he's just met this individual, and he's like, eh. But Varric does feel a sense of connection with this individual, be it the way he fights, be it the way he conducts himself. There's something about Scar that while he doesn't trust him right away, there's also something that Varric likes about this individual. That's it. That's all I needed to know. We can move on. Okay, now let's go back to our journey after we've established all that. We now have an idea how to play Scarbidon and the relationship that he is beginning to have with Raza and Varric. Now, you notice I don't say a lot about Sputnik. Sputnik is here very temporarily, I think. He is so afraid that I don't think he's going to last very much longer. We'll see. I mean, only the dice can tell. But if Sputnik stays with the group, I'll be very surprised. If he does, then we'll have to generate some questions and ideas about Sputnik as well. I mean, he's just a little goblin scout who was forced to lead these guys to this area of the wood. All right, they're about a half day's journey away. Let us roll. We need to roll a 3d6, and on a 1 or 2, we get an encounter. Ooh, so there's a high probability here of an encounter. Okay, so the 3d6 refers to the navigation dice. These dice have to roll a 6 in order, any of these dice have to roll a 6 in order to get out of that forest hex safely. Otherwise, we get lost. The white die is the encounter die. That one, if it rolls a 1 or a 2, according to this little hex note there, that means that there is also an encounter. And then we have to take care of that encounter before we move on. Okay. Roll. I'm going to use this little template. We're going to put it here. And basically, this gives me a random direction of movement in one hex because they're lost. So now if I roll a 2, if I roll this, we're just going to keep them locked in that hex. Means they're going around in circles. And yeah, they're not going to be too happy with Sputnik. So let's roll a d6 and see what direction. A 2. Okay, so they're stuck in this hex going around in circles. All right, well, that's not too bad. We're just going to re-roll our 3d6 to get out of that hex and hopefully don't get lost again. And then we have the white encounter die. So now we're trampling around the woods here, not knowing, and finally come back to a point where Raza realizes, hey, we're going around in circles. All right, let's see if Sputnik can do it. He does not do it, and we have an encounter. Damn it, this hex is proving very difficult. Maybe it's a lot bushier here. It's deep in the forest, and Sputnik just doesn't remember the way. So now this attracts a major encounter, not just a minor encounter. Okay, yikes. Okay, so here's our party. All right, we have Raza with the bow, we have Sputnik, we have our Scar and Varric. They're all hiding in the bushes because they see this giant, it looks like a daddy long legs, very long, thin legs, but it is carrying this immense log. And it's walking right over the water into the vegetation, and it's going in this direction. Now, what's going to happen here? Does this creature sense them or notice them in any way, shape, or form? Let's see. So here is the battlefield. To make things a little more interesting, we're going to put Raza here. This is where she's supposed to be. And characters move about 30 feet. So I'm going to say each hex is 10 feet because of the size of the minis. And so they'll move 3 hexes. They can also move around obstacles as long as it's not covering the entire hex. So Raza can sneak by here and get to that hex if she needs to. So Raza uses her move to sneak around here in front of Scar, and then positions herself on the tip there of the bushes. She has her bow on the ready, and then with her final action she fires. Now Raza has a boon on both melee and range, so we take 2 dice and pick the highest number for a hit. Oh, a possible crit. Oh, perfect. All right, let's confirm the crit. That is 1 strike. Another crit. That is 2 strikes. Another crit. That is 3 strikes. All right, and for 4 strikes. So Raza's arrow whizzes through the air. Besides being small, it strikes something vital in the spider's head, probably right through one of these softer orbs that it has for eyes, and it penetrates deeply. The spider begins to wobble as it is hit with 4 damage. It only has 5 strikes. This creature screeches out a very high-pitched sound, something that these creatures normally do not do, after Raza's incredible hit. And out from the bushes on one of the higher ground areas, another giant spider approaches. But this one is different. This one is a soldier spider that was in the region. So this is a soldier spider, and this is a crane spider, some kind of worker. So these individual spiders have gained these mutations due to whatever magic they have been exposed to. So Raza, of course, doesn't recognize any of this. We'll say difficulty 4 because she does have her back to it. Okay, Raza does not spot it yet, but Scar does. So he will, let's see, Scar, Sputnik, and Varric. Sputnik also spots it. He's terrified. Varric does not. He is intent on that giant crane spider that Raza just injured. So we're going to say Sputnik yells out to Raza, and now Raza is aware of the threat behind her. Oh, I'm just going to spin her around. All right, let's continue with the rest of the brazen. So Scar is going to use a scroll, and being that he does spot it, he's going to use a scroll. I haven't determined yet what his little familiar is going to do, but we will. Probably give him some benefit to his casting. But, okay, he's going to use a scroll called the Curse of Zendra. He's going to try to use it on this newly arrived individual and see and give it a bane for the rest of the battle. If he can do that, that's going to be a great help. Okay. 2 dice for the spider's magical resistance. A 3, so Scar is going to have to roll a 3. The scroll's power is defaulted at 2d6, so he needs a 3 or over on 1 die. He does. The spell kicks off. So Scar lifts the scroll. Sim Salah Beam Amaris. He says the magic words and the scroll activates. So after reading from it, the scroll suddenly burns up, and that's it. That scroll does not exist anymore. But the spider does get Bane on all its rolls, so we're going to have to mark that. Okay. So after he goes, he has 1 move left. I think he's going to move here. Let's see, 1, 0. Right here, right near this tree, and take a little bit of cover, followed by his little familiar. Okay. Now it is Sputnik's turn. Will Sputnik cower? Let's see. It's going to be a morale check. We're going to give him a 4. Oh, he doesn't cower. So maybe we can make a soldier out of him yet. Okay, so little Sputnik goes. And he's going to do something. Let's see. Well, Varric is very big. He's going to go around here. Pulls out his scimitar with his free action. And he can get to hit this hex. Doesn't quite reach the enemy, but he gets right there. Okay, so he is ready to attack. Next turn, I'm not going to roll morale. He's going to be able to attack as normal. Okay, unless he dies. And then we have Varric's turn. Now, Varric, the big brute, can get around here. He's going to use his free action for to draw his weapon. Then he moves. And anywhere the spider touches, like any of these hexes, is sort of the volume of the spider. So Varric can attack him now. And Varric does have a boon. So come on, Varric. Okay, yep, he does hit. It's a 3 over to hit. So 1 strike for Varric. And Varric raises his giant club and strikes the spider right in on one of its legs. There is a loud crack as the leg breaks. He then goes around and hits the other leg. There's a loud crack as that leg breaks. There is a viscous fluid that then sprays out. As soon as it hits contact with the air, the fluid becomes dark and purple. And that's it. This spider has 5 strikes, thanks to Raza. Okay, so the spider falls lifeless. 1 enemy down. Now we have just 1 soldier spider left. Creatures have no problem coming down, so a 1 hex, it can move 4 hexes. It's going to go for the closest enemy, which is Raza. Oh no, little Raza. So, giant spider has a bane, but it attacks, thanks to that curse that Scar has put on it, it attacks Raza with a bane. Okay, taking the lowest number, it does hit even with the bane. Let's see if Raza's armor can block it. She gets an armor save. It does not. I think I'm going to use 2 karma and bring it up to 5. So it does block. So she loses 2 karma. So 6 minus 2. And that is 4. So she only has 4 karma left. She manages to block the attack with her armor. Okay, so the spider gets another attack because it has 2 attacks. It gets another attack on Raza, but again, it has a bane. And it has to take the 2, so it misses. Okay, both attacks have missed Raza. Soldiers are tougher than a lot of the worker spiders. So I think now it goes back to Raza. I think she's going to try and get back. I'm going to give it an attack of opportunity because these hexes are 10 feet. She has to try to disengage, give the spider an attack on a bane. This is a free attack as an opportunity. It rolls a 3, does not hit. It needed 4s. So Raza manages to disengage, and now with her action, she gets to fire. So she's going to fire her bow, her deadly bow. She gets a boon. Okay, so she misses. Okay, so what do I want to do? You know what? I'm going to add another karma. So now she has 3 karma and make this a 3, which is what she needs to hit the spider. So on 1 die, 1 more karma, make the 2 a 3. She now has 3 points of karma left, and it does hit. Okay, so that causes a strike on the spider. It has 3 strikes. All right, well, 2 strikes left. Now we're back to Scarbadin. I think Scarbadin is going to lower his staff. Let me check something. I didn't see any range restriction, but I'm going to move him closer. I'm going to give it a range of 2 hexes, so like 20 feet. And basically he lowers his staff and he's gonna fire a necrotic bolt. Now his staff suddenly glows with a mysterious dark bluish energy, very dark energy, and he fires a bolt. All right, now this is a ranged attack. He hits on 3s. This is treated as a regular ranged attack and hits on 3. He does not have a boon. He rolls a 6, a possible crit. Oh, 1 strike to the spider. It only has 2 strikes left. Oh, he does not confirm the crit. Okay, that was cool. We could have killed it right here. All right, so now the spider is hit with this black beam of necrotic energy. It takes 1 strike, 1 strike left, and now it is slowing down and clearly damaged. It begins to wobble around. And now let's see what can. All right, now all these hexes are occupied with the body of this big ass spider. So I think he's going to use his attack action to just move another 20 feet or so, and he now engages the spider. I have to check the rules. That I haven't seen anything about double movement, but I am granting it in my game. So he just uses his attack and engages the spider. Okay, so next is Sputnik. Now Sputnik has gotten brave all of a sudden, and as I said, I'm not going to roll morale, so I think he's going to get a boon because of Varric. He normally doesn't get a boon. He's not very strong, but let's see. He needs a 3 because the spider is so big. It only has 1 strike left. Come on, Sputnik. Whoa, Sputnik. Oh, 2 strikes. Let's re-roll those 2 strikes. And 1 is confirmed. A total of 3 strikes. And Sputnik suddenly yells out in fear and slams his scimitar right into these soft, fleshy little orbs of the spider. And it quickly thrashes about and dies, its legs curling up beneath. Oh, what a battle. What a battle. All right, let's roll. One thing I forgot. We're going to do it now because Raza's... was she poisoned? No, she was not poisoned. Right, she saved. We used all of that karma. Okay, so Raza was down some karma. She is going to get an extra karma for a failure. So it's going to maintain itself. She's going to be having a total of 5 karma. Okay, we're going to remove the encounter marker here from the party. And now let's roll the navigation roll. By the way, we are not using karma to modify any of these rolls. We're not using karma to modify any of the oracle rolls as well. That is separate and just straight rolls. Okay. Oh, 2 6s. All right. And no encounter. All right. Very well. So now the party can safely get out of this hex. And we have reached the objective. Okay. So our party makes its way through the woods. And this is what they discover. There is this huge ring of logs and sticks. But some really large logs arranged in a pile in a ring, and holding that ring together is all of this spider webbing. Even on the trees, the webbing covers everything, and there are some humanoid forms wrapped around this webbing, motionless. Now, there is a strange glow in the center of this great big log structure. So in the center of this structure, there is this glowing object. Here is our party. They come in through this trail led by Sputnik and the little familiar, which is an imp-like creature that belongs to Scar. And here, immediately as the party enters, they can see some kind of a cave or a tunnel, an entrance to an underground area. Okay, so this is what they see. What is this? Is this a nest? What is this glowing structure in the center? Well, we're going to have to find out next time, guys. All right, folks. Well, I hate to do this, but yes, we're going to leave it right here. We are closer, one step closer to finishing this quest. And then I'm going to have a little discussion, a brief discussion at the end to kind of summarize all the tools we used and give some opinions on Ezd6 and solo play with Ezd6, okay? That'll be once we finish the actual quest. And then we will move on to another RPG or maybe come back to this if people are interested, okay? Now, there are more questions and there are more things to figure out if we were to continue this as a mini campaign. There's a lot of different questions and things that we have about Varric and Raza, and also about Scar. There's a couple of things. Now, today we've learned a lot about Scar, and that's because Scar was bugging me, you know, so we were able to fill in some blanks and develop and weave a little story out of the different tools that we used. Okay, so we learned a lot this episode, and I am happy about that. So what is going on here? Only the Oracle can say. I'll see you in future episodes of Ask the Oracle.